Alright guys, so this is another technical video that you can refer back to, and so I hope you don't watch this immediately after watching the introductory video, or you'll just give up, and go to a few meetings first, just get your head around it, watch a few debates, participate in a few debates, and then when you feel like, you're pretty cool and all that, then you can go back to this referral video, which talks about a few more technicalities of the construction of Canadian parliamentary debate. And so what you see right here is what I've shown you in my first video, which is the classic setup of a CP debate format, right? Which is the Prime Minister having 7 minutes, going on to the member of the opposition 7 minutes, Minister of the Crown 7 minutes, Leader of the Opposition 10 minutes, 3 minutes is the summary speech, Prime Minister rebuttal 3 minutes, the debate is done. Altogether takes a bit over 30 minutes with the breaks in between and so forth. Right. So here's a clean paper and we can see how it goes, right? Now, what I'm going to do is going to show you two different variations of this that happen all the time and happen in tournaments, and so I don't want you to be surprised by them. And hopefully this video will just explain it well for you at one shot, right? And so the first variation is that the government side can opt to have a Prime Minister PMRE, which is called Prime Minister Rebuttal Extension. And what happens in this variation is that the Prime Minister's speech will be shortened 1 minute in the first, his opening speech will be shortened 1 minute and his closing speech will be lengthened 1 minute. And so it's in the end, it's like the same amount of time, but it's just that he gets 1 extra minute in his rebuttal, which is why it's called rebuttal extended, PMRE, right? And you would generally choose to do this if you think that your motion, because you're the government and you have chosen the motion, if you believe that your motion is very dependent upon what the opposition will argue and they have like a bit of flexibility in what they're going to argue, and so you think that that extra minute will be better used in the end in where you will be able to refute them better and you'll be able to properly prove to the judge, you'll be more effective because essentially you think that your minute in the end is more effective because you'll be able to base it on what the opposition has been saying rather than your minute in the beginning, right? Some people choose to keep it the classical version, mainly because they have a lot to say in their opening 7 minutes, and they really want to make their argument deep and strong so that it'll provide a lasting impression upon their stance of the argument to the judges, right? And so it's really a question of like the Prime Minister's preference. PMREs are really popular, but first side is classical, and that's okay. Now the second variation is variation for the opposition side, and it's called split up. And what happens is essentially that these 10 minutes actually just turn into 7 minutes plus 3 minutes. And what happens in this case is that, the names actually change around because the leader of the opposition is always the person who is giving the summary speech. And so what will happen is that it doesn't really matter about the names, but just to be technical, the leader of the opposition will start with 7 minutes. All right, so it'll go it'll be the same order. It'll be this guy first, then it'll go here, then it'll go here, then it'll go here, and then it'll go here, right? Now, the leader of opposition will give a 7-minute speech. Then the member of the opposition will give a 7-minute speech when it's his turn. And immediately after 7 minutes, the leader of the opposition will give a 3-minute speech. And so it'll still be 10 minutes in a row, but what will happen is that instead of one person giving a 10-minute speech, it'll be 2 people. And then this person will give the 3-minute speech as opposed to this person giving all 10 minutes. And so it's kind of a way if you really feel that it's just a matter of preference as well, right? You don't feel like you want to give a 7-minute argument speech and immediately after that, without the clock even stopping, continue on to give a 3-minute summary speech, right? And so it's really popular that way. Although, again, that is a variation and you may feel that you prefer to give it one person would prefer to give the entire 10-minute speech because he prefers that style and so forth. So it's really a question of what you prefer, but it's good to know that there are two variations which essentially make 4 different kinds of debate because it can be classic or it can be one variation on one side or both variations on both sides. So these are the names and the judges. Well, I'm just going to stop right there.